Well, guys, my garden needs to get its next succession planting. There's a couple of little gaps here and there, and we need to fill them. But unfortunately, my seeds just didn't do as well as what I had expected. But we do have some seedlings that we can plant, which would be amazing since the last set of seedlings were definitely struggling due to all the rain that we'd had. So in this area of the garden, we've had some of our biggest successes this season. This lavender bush has kept providing throughout the season so far, but it does need a severe pruning because it's starting to overshadow other parts of the garden. Things like our jalapeno peppers, I will be removing these bushes because we are no longer going to grow them through the season. And I'm also going to come along and remove this bean plant off of the archway because it's stopped producing for us in this cold. And it's got a little bit moldy by the looks of things. So let's eliminate that. We'll be removing this marigold. It's kind of in a weird position. And we're going to give this little section a bit of a cleanup. I'm going to start this side of the bed and just work my way closer to you, and we'll see how much we can get done. I am going to allow this lavender bush to grow further backwards if it needs to, because the chickens can reach their heads through the fence, and they often do. So if they're snacking on a little bit of this lavender, that's not going to harm the plant. But if they're eating my crops, that will definitely harm my pantry. So I've just finished with this lavender bush, and I'm going to pull out these jalapenos. You could attempt to overwinter them, but since they're not going to really produce for us, and they do feel a little bit sickly, I'm actually just going to start over again next season, hopefully with some seeds, and we'll see how we do on that. These jalapenos are one of our biggest wins this season. They produced so many jalapeno peppers for us, and honestly, I'm grateful for it because we've had a couple of years where the harvest wasn't that great. Still there, but not great. Now that the jalapenos are out, I'm going to come along and remove this bean plant from the archway. Right, so I'm just going to grab the seeds that I need here. So we'll start at least. So I'm going to start with these spinach, the Ford Hook Giants. This area over here has a bit of a bald patch. And now there's a bit of space here as well. And I'm going to forego this very little plant here, right in front of my foot. And we're going to plant in these 6 plants scattered in this area just to fill it up and give them a go. As you can see in this bed, I've got a bit of open space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant some cabbages here. I'm only going to do 3, one over there, one over here, and one in the center. And we're going to see how they go. And then we'll keep the remaining 3 and see if we can find them a home. I've just realized that while I'm down here, I am planting some peas in here. So what I'm going to do is just go and grab a few of those. I'm going to plant 3 peas in this space. It is quite close together. But you know what? Small space gardening. In front of me here, I have this container. And it used to have our opal basil and this Greek basil. But for now, I'm going to come along and plant our parsley right next to it there. I'm just teasing the base of these roots just to encourage them to spread out a little bit and not continue to grow around. Okay, so there's not too much space in here. I don't really want to overpopulate this, and it is quite full already, but I like my garden jam-packed. You do what makes you happy in yours. I am going to open up this mulch here, and I'm going to plant 2 sweet peas in here. I remember as a kid, there was this one house along a main street going into like a neighboring area, if you will. And the gentleman who stayed there, every year he would plant their entire perimeter, fence or wall at least, with sweet peas. And one day you drive past and there would be just like a wall of green plants. And then the next time you drive past, there was this absolute eruption of color. And it was always just so incredibly beautiful to me. I think because it is such a fond memory of my childhood, coupled with the way that they smell and they look and the joy that they bring me when I grow them. They've definitely solidified their place in my heart as my all-time favorite. I'm just going to come along and fill out these purple beans. Their season for us is finished at least. Now we can use this container to plant something else in. It's already got these 3 mustard greens in, and they are looking quite healthy. So we'll plant on this side of the container and we'll see what grows. Broccoli is one of Duncan's favorite veggies. He does like the green beans, but he is quite partial to some broccoli. So I'm going to plant one in here. I do have plans for, I think, 3 more to go in the bed. But I'll take you along with me on that shortly. But for now, I'm going to plant the broccoli here. We haven't necessarily had the best luck with broccoli so far, which is a little sad because, like I said, Duncan really does enjoy broccoli. I don't mind broccoli. I'm more of a cauliflower girl myself. But really, I like all veggies. Hope that we can successfully grow a few broccolis. They freeze nicely and they pickle well. They're good in salads. They're really good for you if you eat them raw. Hopefully this will do. With broccoli, there may be a little bit of competition here, but ultimately, if I had to make the decision, I'll just choose whatever's healthiest at the time. Broccoli, they do stipulate with broccoli and cabbage and other brassicas, if you are going to grow them in containers, it is advisable to grow them in a container that is more than 30 centimeters deep, just to ensure that they've got enough root space to grow. So space for 3 broccoli, 4 broccolis, plants. One here. One here. One over here. And one just here in front of the zinnia. See, I have one more broccoli seed left, and I have this container. It used to have yarrow, but it has, for the most part, all died back. So I'm just going to pull it out of here. What's up? I nearly died. There's a pocktown prawn in there and it jumped straight up and out. Not happy. Broccoli done. Okay, guys. So for the most part, the garden is planted out. I do have one or two pea plants to still plant out and some cabbage. But for now, after that experience with the part-time prawn, I'm going to go have a cup of coffee, take a little bit of a break, and then I'll come back to planting. Not too long ago, I planted 3 lettuces in here. None of them seem to have made it. I actually think they were eaten by something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant the last of my peas in here. And if need be, I will then rehang the plastic mesh on the wall there so that the plants have something to creep up. The plan is to plant peas here. So I'm only going to plant 3 here. Well, there you have it, guys. So I just want to say thanks for hanging out with me today as I planted in my new seeds and created a succession planting in my garden. I'm definitely feeling a lot more confident going into this winter season, knowing that we're not going to suffer a hunger gap during the springtime because we've already planted those crops we're planning on eating today. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you can follow along on our journey. Bye, guys. So these are the seeds we planted out together, the ones that got annihilated by the rain. And I did lose a fair amount, and we have consolidated what I have. I am going to give them an opportunity to grow a little bit. So for me, that looks a lot like leaving them to size up while still taking care of them. But in the interim, I've at least been able to create that succession planting by planting my seedlings. So there you have it, guys. So even though our garden has gone through a bit of a transformation, it's not looking completely bare because we have been able to plant out a few little seedlings here and there. And now hopefully as they grow, they will fill up these open spaces. And as we remove things, like when we harvest the carrots and these radishes, we'll be able to fill them hopefully with the seeds we planted beforehand. So now all that's left is to give this a good watering and hope that it settles in.